Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to start collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but we're going to look at how we can start a Fyreslayers army and get a Fyreslayers army on the tabletop of 2,000 points with just 4 different box sets. Now, the idea of this video is to get you an army on the table nice and quick for those standard size 2k games of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is certainly not going to be the most competitive army, but it will give you a really good base point to play some games with, to have an army to build, to have a bunch of fantastic models, and also some of the units we're going to talk about have access and gateways to other game systems that are Warhammer Age of Sigmar adjacent as well, like Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry and Warhammer Underworlds. And so, we're going to talk about 4 different box sets and then show you an army list of 2,000 points at the end of the video for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Fyreslayers force, nice and quick. And so, the first box set we're going to talk about, of course, is the Vanguard box set for the Fyreslayers. This box set is led by a Battlesmith, which is a really cool hero to get for your Fyreslayers force. What this has is the icon of Grimnir, where friendly Fyreslayers units wholly within 12 inches of this model have a ward of 6+. In addition, once per battle, they can plant the icon, and instead you'll have a ward of 5+ instead of 6+ to Fyreslayer units wholly within 12. Bard of the Lodge as well is really cool, meaning you can issue the rally command to Fyreslayers units and you actually return models on the dice roll of a 4+ rather than the 6. Now, joining this model, we have 20 Volkite Berserkers. These are a pure battle line unit option. There are actually 2 different loadouts you can take for them. The first is the slightly cheaper option with the bladed sling shields, 2 wounds each and a 4+ save. You've got your Firesteel Hand Axe or Firesteel Warpick for a single attack in melee. Depending on what you want to go with, the Hand Axes are 3s and 3s but have no rend and damage 1, while the Firesteel Warpick will be 4+ to wound, but it will have a point of rend in there as well. Your unit champions have +1 attack, and the Hornblower allows you to add +1 to your charge rolls as well. You have the Berserk Fury rule, where once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can say this unit will unleash its Berserk Fury, and if you do so until the end of the phase, if a model in this unit is slain, you can fight before it's removed from play. And the bladed sling shields that make this particular type of the unit special allow you to, after you've made a charge move, roll the dice for each model in the unit, and for each 6+, the enemy unit will suffer a mortal wound. The alternate build option are the Volkite Berserkers with Firesteel Hand Axes. You will drop down to a 5+ save, but you will gain an extra attack in melee on your Firesteel Hand Axes for 2 attacks at 3s and 3s, no rend damage 1. Now, you've got Berserk Fury, but you also have Whirlwind of Destruction, where you can add +1 attack to your models as well if you've made a charge move in the same turn, taking you up to a nice 3 attacks. Now, the last box set we have here inside this kit is the Auric Hearthguard and Hearthguard Berserker dual kit. Now, Hearthguard Berserkers are an elite combat unit for us. They have 2 wounds each and a 5+ save, and they've got 2 different weapon options. Either there's Berserker Broadaxe, which is 2 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1 damage 2, or the Flamestrike Poleaxe, which is 2 attacks at 3s and 3s, no rend damage 1. But you do have the Smoldering Braziers rule when you use the Flamestrike Poleaxe, where if the unmodified hit roll for an attack with the Flamestrike Poleaxe is a 6, it will cause 2 mortal wounds in addition to any other damage. On top of this as well, you do have Duty Unto Death, where this unit has a ward of 5+ if it's wholly within 9 inch of any friendly Fyreslayers hero. Now, the other unit option we can build from this box set is the Auric Hearthguard. They are a ranged unit with their Magma Pikes, giving us 2 attacks at an 18-inch range on 4s and 3s, or rend 1 damage 1. But the Molten Rock Bolts is their special ability, where if they ever get some... Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, the next box set I want to talk about is the new Dawnbringers box set for the Fyreslayers called Fury's Flamebearers. Now, this can obviously be used in other Age of Sigmar forces of the Order Grand Alliance as a nice little regiment of renown, but for the Fyreslayers, it does give you access to some more units. Now, we have some of the same units we just talked about in this in another 10 Volkite Berserkers. This means we have 3 units of them now at 10 models, meaning no matter what we want to do and however we want to load out our general, we will always have enough battle line to play a game at 2,000 points with. We then have 10 Hearthguard Berserkers and Auric Hearthguard within this box set as well, but the new character we get in here is the Grimhold Exile. Now, the Grimhold Exile is a brand new character we're going to have access to for the Fyreslayers. This model came out inside the Dawnbringers box set, and what it's going to allow us to do is have, a little bit of extra combat potential punch in our force. So the Grimhold Exile has the Last of the Lodge Fire, where once per battle when you pick this unit to fight, instead of piling in and attacking with it, you can say or unleash its Last of the Lodge Fire. If you do so, you pick an enemy unit within 1 inch and roll a number of dice equal to the wounds characteristic of that enemy unit, and for each 4+, the enemy unit will suffer a mortal wound. Honor to Grimnir as well allows you to once per battle in the hero phase to raise a battle cry, and if you do so, friendly Fyreslayers units that do not have a mount and a hull within 6 inches of this model can raise the battle cry are inspired, and inspired units can run and charge. Last thing is Living Legacy. While this unit is within 3 inches of any other friendly unit has 3 or more models, it'll also have a 4+ war save, so a nice little additional buff piece for our force. And so our next box set is going to be the Magma Drop box set. Now this is a really cool kit, because first of all, you will get obviously the Magma Drop in it, but you'll also get one of each of the characters of an Auric Runefather, Rune Sun, and Rune Smiter. Now what's really cool is any one of these 3 characters can be put on top of the Magma Drop, and then you will get the other 2 characters on foot. So this is a great way to get, a couple of extra models for purchasing a single kit in your force. And so we'll talk about all the Magma Drop versions of these models mostly. So we've got the Auric Runefather on Magma Drop with 16 wounds and a 4+ save. This is pretty much a major damage dealing monster. You've got the Roaring Firestream, which is a apparent for all the Magma Drops, which is an attack that's a ranged attack that does a nice amount of hits to enemy units around it, and it can also power up by not using it one turn and then using it the next. Your Lashing Tail allows you to deal some mortal wounds at the end of combat. Volcanic Blood means every time you actually suffer a wound in melee, you can deal some mortal wounds back to your opponent. But Lords of the Lodge, once per battle at the start of your combat phase for the Auric Runefather, you can pick a friendly unit on the battlefield with its ability to unleash the Wrath of Grimnir, and if you do so, you add 1 to the attacks characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Fyreslayers units while they're wholly within 12 inch. The next option is the Auric Rune Smiter on Magma Drop. Now this has 16 wounds as well. And you've got Roaring Firestream, Lashing Tail, Volcanic Blood, but you also have Runic Empowerment, which is a prayer, which will allow you to give +1 to wound rolls to a nearby unit. The last of these is the Auric Rune Sun on Magma Drop, and this is the cheapest of the 3 options. You've got all the same sort of normal rules you would have for your Magma Drop itself, but you also have Vying for Glory as well. Wherever the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by this unit that targets a monster is a 6, the attack causes a number of mortal wounds equal to the weapon's damage characteristic and the attack sequence ends, though this ability has no effect on the unit's mount though. So some pretty cool stuff. Now you do have obviously the different foot variations of all of these hero as well. For the Auric Rune Sun, you have Royal Retinue, where you can allow this model to pick a friendly unit around it that can become its retinue. Dauntless Assault as well means after this unit's fought in the combat phase for the first time, if it's not yet fought and its little retinue is around it, that retinue and that unit can wholly fight as well. Vying for Glory is still there though. You then have the Auric Rune Smiter on foot, which actually has a really cool ability called Magmatic Tunneling, which allows you to bring some Fyreslayers on from the board edge. And lastly, the Auric Runefather on foot as well is going to have the same Royal Retinue as well, and the Dauntless Assault ability same as the Auric Rune Sun on foot. And so our last box set here is the Chosen Axes. These are a Warhammer Underworlds warband, and they're going to give you a character called Fjordgrimnir and the 3 different Chosen Axes models as well. So like I said, this is a really cool one because this allows you to play Warhammer Underworlds with them as well, and they also do have rules for Warhammer Age of Sigmar Warcry as well that you can use. So it's going to give you access, but also it's going to give you a bunch of really fantastic miniatures. I think the Warhammer Underworlds warbands are absolutely amazing looking miniatures. Now, Fjordgrimnir himself is going to provide you with a very similar sort of profile to a on-foot Auric Runefather, but he's got Dauntless Assault and he's got Royal Retinue, which is for his special Chosen Axes. Now, the Chosen Axes themselves are an interesting unit. They've got 3 different models in there, 2 Volkite Berserkers and an Auric Hearthguard in there as well. So they're going to have some extra attacks and power. They've got Berserk Fury, where once per battle they can fight before they're removed from play, and they also get +1 attack when they charge as well, which is really nice. So you've got a nice variety of different models in there, and you've got a little bit of extra punch. You know, another unit of 3 models, nothing to shirk about. It gives you a cool little objective holder and another character as well to use within your force. And so here we have our sample 2,000 point army list. Now, we've obviously gone for Fyreslayers, and we have gone for playing inside the Vostag Lodge. Now, one reason, this is actually where Fjord Grimnir is from, so it narratively sort of fits, but also the ability for Vostag is to give us +1 to hit and wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Volkite Berserker units that made a charge move in the same turn. And since we have plenty of Volkite Berserkers, I think this is just a really solid little ability to take for our force. Now, our grand strategy we've gone for has the cool one, and is one of the grand strategies available to only the Fyreslayers, called Guarded Lineage. We need an Auric Runefather or Auric Rune Son to survive the battle. This is pretty cool, so we do have 3 models that can fulfill this for us. Obviously, with Fjord Grimnir, he is an Auric Runefather. Then we have the Rune Son that we've got on foot, and the Auric Runefather on Magma Drop as well. Now, we go into our characters, and we've got the Auric Rune Smiter there, who's got our Forge Key, and it's got the Ash Cloud Rune, as well as the cool little artifact we've taken. What the Ash Cloud Rune does is provides us with some nice magical protection once per battle. And then we've got Prayer of Ash as well, which is going to allow us to put some negative effects on our opponent. Auric Rune Son in there on foot with the Wormslayer Javelin, full Grimnir as well, and then we go to the Auric Runefather on Magma Drop, he'll be our general, and it's got the Axe of Grimnir, which gives them a +1 rend and +1 damage to their main weapon, the big Latchkey Axe. His mount trait will be Cold Hard Ancient as well, which allows us to be -1 damage when we're in melee. -1 damage that is coming into us. Battlesmith will take the Nulcidian Icon, which provides us with some more magical defense, and then we have the Grimhold Exile rounding out our characters. For battle line wise, we have our 3 units of 10 Volkite Berserkers with Fire Steel Hand Axes, and we've also got the unit of Hearthguard Berserkers in there in a big squad of 15 of them with Flame Strike Pole Axes. This is going to be allowed as our battle line unit because we've taken the Auric Runefather as our general. Now, if we didn't, we would have to split this into a 10 and 5, but that would still be able to do the same thing. We then have a last unit of the Chosen Axes, and for core battalions, we've actually gone for a double Warlord battalion. This is allowing us the extra 2 artifacts in here, and effectively we just split up our characters 3 with 2 of the units with them, and the Chosen Axes remain outside, giving us, you know, a nice solid force with some really cool abilities and artifacts to play around with in the force. We're 1990 out of 2,000 points as well, so we do have a Triumph of Inspired for +1 to wound if we ever should need it or get access to it. And so, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fun little community, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description, and also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon or YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch from our Teespring store as well. All of those are linked down in the video's description, and a special thank you to our YouTube members and patrons. We'd like to give you all a shout out, so thank you to our YouTube members John Castle, Disco, James Tillman, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, Ariana Edwards, Broken Chef, the Johnny84, Lock Lorick, Ronya, Green Roots Gaming, and our patrons Wasaren, Kenny Lyle, Alder Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Redman, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.